Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and we're back with some more Rocket Pig Games models. Now, these guys all right here have been showcased and spotlighted before, and if you really want to go dig around in my old videos, I mean, there's hundreds and probably thousands of them at this point, because I just keep sticking them up. Anyway, these ones I did on my old printer, and I was always a bit underwhelmed with the amount of detail that came through. And I always wondered, was it the prints or was it my printer? Because looking at the actual renders of the STL files on like ChitoBox or Lychee or any of that stuff, everything looked really sharp, really crisp. And so I'd had pretty good results recently when I had those human-sized models. So I thought, you know what, why don't we start shooting for something a little bit bigger and see what happens? So I did just that. And then these guys can finally have some company. So I'm just going to set them to the side for the moment so we can have the spotlight more on these. Our first model, this was actually a single cast piece. I have no idea what he is supposed to be. It's like a void shade or something like that. I'll put the official names down below if you wanted to hunt these down yourselves and try printing them out. But I'm always a sucker for a good demon model. He's got like flames coming off him. He's got like big blade arms. And the detail seems to be there. Obviously, we're going to get these all primed up so you guys can get a good look at them. But then I printed this. I saw they had a fossil golem. And it's literally just made out of old fossilized bones. Now, unfortunately, where the head was supposed to attach to the body, it started to pancake out, even though it is supportless, and I just decided I'm not going to bother cleaning it up. Sorry. So you can see here he's got like jawbones for hands. He's got a mammoth skull on his back. There's like what looks to be a saber-tooth face stuck in there. I mean, I don't know what everything is. Obviously the T-Rex looking head. He's got all the piles of dirt stuck in there. So I think that's pretty cool. The head came out really nice. Nice and sharp. So I switched up my resins recently, and I'm liking what I'm seeing result-wise with this new one. I believe this was called the Goddess of Darkness or something like that. And I can't help it, but all I see when I see this is I see the old Tony Takasaki Geno Cyber. Specifically from the anime when things really go kind of bonkers towards the end of it when things happen. I don't want to spoil it, just in case anybody hasn't seen it, and it's been a long time, and maybe I'm just clouded with nostalgia, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I could not fit her as a single piece. She is a single piece. Completely on the print bed. I had to reduce the size down to like 85 or something just because of the... Maybe? I don't even remember now. Funny thing, these are supposed to be printed this way. I went back and double checked. I was like, what happened there? Why aren't they all sharp? Nope, it was supposed to be like that. So she's of pretty decent size. I would like to try printing up some of the bigger, crazier multi-part pieced kits that Rocket Pig make. I haven't done it yet, but I just fear it's going to take a lot of resin, and I haven't got the results yet that I'm really happy with on the FDM printer yet that my brother's got. And then we printed this thing up. This is the Hex Scourger. And I am pretty sure, I am pretty convinced that it is based on the aspect of Hextor from the old D&D Greyhawk campaign stuff. And you can see here, I feel like the detail is really where it should be. I didn't blow it up. I actually had to reduce it down to 95% due to his prongs. They just stuck up too far. And this hand here is actually supposed to be a separately printed piece. But yeah, I'm 99% sure that's supposed to be the aspect of Hextor. And he does have that weird shape to the sword. And honestly, the aspect of Hextor was one of the original models from the old D&D pre-painted line. I want to say it was in War Drums in that set. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. That was one of the models that really kind of got me back towards tabletop models in general. I loved those old D&D pre-paints, and honestly I was very sad to part with some of them, but considering the ridiculous markup that a lot of that stuff was getting at the time, that was what helped got this channel funded and started in the first place, so I can't really complain in that regard. So you can see here, these guys are in pretty good company in terms of size, using my poor little Hoplite Warrior there. You can see he is definitely getting dwarfed by everything else around him, so that's a good sign. I'm going to get these models all primed up. Hopefully we can see the detail a little bit more clearly there, and I will try to find where I put all those other human-sized ones as well, and we'll take a look with them too. So, sit tight, and we will get these guys all primed up. Whee! Alright, we got some space cleared out here. Here is our Void Shade. Again, I still don't know what exactly I'm looking at, but that's going to be half the fun of trying to figure out what exactly I'm painting. And hopefully you guys can help in that regard then, because I don't know. So I guess we're just going to go in a size order progression here. Our Fossil Golem. Again, I had a little bit of that pancaking there where it attached to the print base. I think this is going to be a fun one to paint. A little bit bigger. We should put our human... Oh, you know what? I remember that worked this time. Alright. And then, I guess, we would have our Goddess of Death. And I swear I still see Genocyber. I argued with Percival about this. He doesn't see it. I don't know. I see it. And then we've got our Hex Scourger. And I gotta say, having him primed up here definitely helps. Seeing those details. I really dig this model. But like I said, I really like that original aspect of Hexter when it was part of the D&D line. And that's obviously the inspiration there. And, I mean, you can see there's this steady progression. I guess if I grab some of the other painted resin figures, like the Green Fiend here, or the Hecatoncheires, who I broke the other day, and that was real fun, fixing those hands. Our Ball Demon Lord. I gotta say, despite the shoddy print job I did, I think he turned out pretty decent. Let's see if I can lighten it up a bit there. But I think honestly and truly, it's when I start playing around with the FDM printer that you really start to see interesting, large, varied results. For reference, the long gullet that we printed and painted. Now, from a distance, I think it looks pretty decent. Up close and personal, where you can really see the quality of the print, that becomes an issue. Him, not so much as the Ice Hydra, as a reminder. We had a really rough job there, and I just kind of put off getting him painted. But part of the reason I wanted to show these all off, and especially this thing, again, the size constraints when you start switching materials. I had my brother go ahead and print up one of the more recent models from Rocket Pig. And I gotta say, this time, I think we're starting to see nice results here. Yeah, it doesn't have as much spikiness as our Ice Hydra friend back here. It doesn't have as many weird angular issues as our long gullet. There is a bit of, I don't even know if you guys can see it, there's some scan line issues, styration there. But for the most part, he looks pretty smooth. And he is absolutely massive. One of the issues with this guy was actually the size of his base. His base is so wide that it really kind of limits where you're able to print him. So some of these models like him, like our big feathered T-Rex friend here, it's going to limit where he's going to be able to be printed. I obviously could not print that on my little tiny Sonic Mini. For reference, okay, I'm running out of space here. Jeez. Here's that resin Godzilla, but again, base size, I could actually fit the Big G's base Yeah, there's just no way I'm able to print something of this size. And that's one frustrating thing, and probably my biggest frustration with Rocket Pig stuff, is that it's really hard to tell, especially if you're picking up stuff off their website or on My Mini Factory, or even during some of the Kickstarter campaigns, speaking of which we have coming up very soon, at least as of the time of this filming. It's hard to tell just how large a base some of these things are. And yeah, they do have the option to print them baseless, but to me, I like the complete package. That's just my own personal preference. And it is very nice to see a feathered theropod of this size. And obviously, speaking of which, fitting on the bed and stuff, he couldn't, all of this was one large piece, I believe. He actually had to separate, Percival, my brother, had to separate the tail into smaller sections to get it to fit. So even that was a bit of a challenge, but absolutely massive. And it makes us both wonder just what other crazy giant pieces we can print. Now, I don't think I'm going to print any of those ridiculously large dragons that were in some of the previous Kickstarter campaigns, but I do have my eyes on a couple of pieces that look like they'd be a real fun challenge. And it's funny that the longer I do this channel, the bigger the figures seem to get. Yeah, so fun stuff from Rocket Pig as always. And if you guys have any thoughts on what we should be doing next, by all means, let us know down there in the comments, because I'm sure either myself or Percival have our eyes on some of those figures already. With that said, we'll put a link down below to take a look at Rocket Pig stuff, because there is plenty to be interested and entertained with down there. This has been High Lord Tamerlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye!